Hello, fellas and ladies. It be about that time to review Better Man, and it's not only a review of Better Man, but I guess a formal apology to Better Man. Better Man is another rise and fall and then rise again type of film about the musician Robbie Williams, in which he's portrayed how he claims to see himself, which is as a monkey. So why shall I apologize to Better Man? Well, I saw this movie at TIFF, and my initial response was I wasn't a fan. And for months, I, was very much in the, Better Man. I didn't hate Better Man, but I just kind of was like, let it be in the past. Whatever, just let it disappear. That's why I didn't do a review during the festival. But in time, perception of this movie started to get really positive. People started to get hyped about it because they're curious about the monkey of it all. And I just maintain, I'm like, this is another bland musical biopic. He just happens to be a monkey. But then I started to think about the movie more, and the more I kind of pondered on it, the more I wanted to give it another shot. I believe the reason I was so negative the first time around is because I went in with such a negative mindset. The movie is directed by Michael Gracie, who directed The Greatest Showman, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst movies ever made. It's a truly cynical film that is just so soulless and gives the subject every pass imaginable. So I went in with that mindset thinking oh god, this fucking guy doing another musical biopic kind of thing. And on top of that, the morning of TIFF, my car started breaking down, so I was really scared about that. I didn't know what the implications of that were. So yeah, a lot of negativity going through my head when I went to go see this movie, and yeah, I left with a pretty whatever mindset. Did I dislike it? No, I even admired some of the swings then. I just whatever on it. The best example I can give you is that there's a concert sequence towards the back half that devolves into something insane that when I saw it the first time I was like, that's fucking random. Okay, whatever, nice try. I see what you're doing. Nah, not happening. And then this time around, it just worked on me. It just was a lot more effective on a second viewing. I think I love this movie now. This movie is so unhinged in itself. Michael Gracie absolutely went off the handles in handling Robbie Williams in an unadulterated way. When I say Robbie Williams is a monkey, I do wonder what this movie would look like if you remove the monkey of it all away. Because the whole movie, he's literally just the ape. He's snorting copious amounts of cocaine as a monkey. He's getting jerked off as a monkey. Bro is literally a monkey the entire time. And it is visually, the effects of the monkey are really impressive. The movie is a musical, in the way that Rocketman was a musical. And the movie does have some very fascinating, well-made musical sequences. I didn't like the musical sequences in Greatest Showman, so I can tell you Michael Gracie stepped up. I actually think the musical sequences in this are better than the ones in Wicked. There's just a lot more vibrancy and use of color and lighting in this one. There's a lot of very, very well thought out stylistic choices in this movie that I thought really worked on me. Whereas the first time I saw it, I just found them as cheap ploys. This time around, I very much now see why he decided to do certain things. There's a one take musical sequence that I'm like, damn, that's some good shit. Now, are all my flaws gone? No. This is still a musical biopic, meaning that a lot of the tropes are there. Daddy doesn't want him, shit like that, the death that stunts him, drug abuse, broken relationships. A lot of that is in here, and there are moments where I'm like, yep, even with the stylistic overlord, even with the monkey, he kind of comes off as familiar. And on top of that, there's a lot of the relationships in this movie that I just didn't really connect with. I felt the connection between, him and his father that was so damaged, the one with him and his grandmother. But then a lot of them I just kind of felt nothing with. The best example I can give you is that there's a friend, I guess a childhood friend, and that relationship feels so empty that it feels like a very afterthought. You could have removed it wouldn't really have changed much other than we lose an outburst. Relationship with his partner doesn't really feel that well utilized. Relationship with his former band, it just, a lot of it is very unfulfilling. That said, I do think a lot of this, what makes this work is that this movie does not hold back when it comes to its portrayal of Robbie Williams. I'll admit, I don't really know who Robbie Williams is. I had heard of him, but I didn't really, he has no effect on me. I don't dislike him, never had any opinion on him. What the movie does so well, though, is that this movie doesn't, is not in any way sanitized. I believe Robbie Williams gave Michael Gracie full range, and unlike Greatest Showman, Michael Gracie took that and ran. There are moments in this movie where it straight up calls Robbie Williams a hack. Like, yo. The movie does touch on, like, this idea of that fame can just free you. And how that's total horseshit. And I love that about it. And on top of this unhinged depiction of Robbie. Obviously, Robbie Williams is a very, eccentric personality. And this movie, plays into that in a way. But, like, there were moments where it did feel like an emotional satisfaction. You kind of are hoping for the best for this guy. You kind of see how he's in this path of self-destruction. Some of the moments where he's, like, healing are a little bit mundane, but, like, it works. The final scene, like, got me. Whereas the first time around, I kind of rolled my eyes at it. This movie just knows how to balance insane, like, stylistic insanity with, like, the humanity of Robbie Williams, because this movie doesn't push back. This movie is unflinching when it comes to him, and I respect the hell out of that, whereas movies like Elvis and Bohemian Rhapsody seem like nothing more than to just, confirm this, affirmation you have of him, of these figures that are just larger-than-life figures. Robbie Williams just was like, you can portray me as larger than life, but also portray me as a human, even though I'm a monkey. And that just hit me a lot more on the second viewing, and I really admire this movie now. I want to see it again. I'm going to take my girlfriend to go see it, probably take my friends to go see it, because it's also a blast of a movie to watch. Maybe it was my attitude going in my first viewing that stunted my enjoyment, because on my second viewing, while I still have my qualms with it, Better Man is just much more exciting and exhilarating than I remember. That's both emotionally satisfying and, despite familiar beats, just feels wholly original and grand. And I'm going to have to give Better Man 8.5 monkeys out of 10. It just goes to show anyone can change. That is that. I got a few other reviews I need to film, so I'm going to, like, subscribe and share. Okay? Freaking monkey ass motherfucker.